extremely professionally and with a very good lineup of speakers, and also all the 4 officers who gave us the session details for the breakout session need to be complimented for summarizing the ideas that came out quite well. I think the Prime Minister has institutionalized the webinar series over the last few years, and this truly helps us disseminate the budget to the common people, to stakeholders of different sections, and his own focus on implementation, time-bound delivery for whatever are our responsibilities, proper utilization of taxpayers' money. In some sense, such webinars will give confidence to the system that we are all aligned and the whole of the government stands behind Prime Minister Modi and Finance Minister Mrs. Sitharaman in achieving the outcomes that this foundational budget of the Amrit Kal has laid out before us. In fact, the Prime Minister's address this morning was truly inspirational. He brought out very well how this budget can be leveraged along with technology to truly make the lives of businesses and the lives of the common citizen much easier, much simpler, and much more easy in terms of meeting compliances, in terms of getting faster delivery of government services. The fact that he focused so much on Karma Yogi, which was also discussed in the first session on using technology for access. I think Karma Yogi is going to be a game changer. It's going to truly help us, all of us in government, to become more citizen-centric, update our own efforts through periodic feedback. I think everybody stressed on feedback from the people, from stakeholders, and the fact that now we are focusing on compliance cost along with ease of doing business or reducing compliance is another very, very important initiative. Very clearly, the country is set to go in the Amrit Kal. We are looking for the collective efforts of all stakeholders, government and the public at large, with businesses also working towards an aligned objective of making India a great place to do business in and an even greater place to live in. My best wishes to all of you as we work through the year in implementing the very, very noble objectives of this budget and fulfilling the vision and the aspirations of India and every Indian that have been set out in this budget. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for a very inspiring and concluding the whole thing in beautifully in a few sentences. I would now request Honorable MeitY Ashwini Vaishnav, sir.
Thank you very much for organizing the entire post-budget webinar in such a nice way. I was listening to the suggestions which have come through. I think the suggestions are very valuable. And the whole focus of this exercise is to have a clear roadmap to implementation of the budget announcements. I think let's keep that focus on. And throughout the year, we should every quarter at least, if not every month, we should try and evaluate what our performance is vis-a-vis the announcements made in the budget. I think that's the way forward. So thank you very much to all the participants for your great contribution to this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think this is the most important, that while we are implementing, we should also monitor so that we should be able to do it in a time-bound manner, sir. I would now request Honorable Minister for Law and Justice, Kiran Rijiju, sir. Honorable Minister for Law and Justice. I think servers had logged in, but maybe we can move on to Honorable MOS personnel, Dr. Jitendra Singh, sir. Sir is there, actually. I think sir is there. Sir is unmuted. Honorable Minister for Law and Justice. Sir, you are muted.
Law and Justice.
Sir is muted. Not able to unmute. Just administrator, please look at. Sir, it's, I think yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you now, sir.
Actually, I'm not allowed to unmute. We have been trying to unmute, but it's been prevented. Anyway.
My apologies, sir.
I just quickly heard all the presentations and the very short observations made by Piyush ji and Ashwini ji. I have nothing much to comment as a Minister of Justice. I can only say that the excellent team has done justice to the task given by the Honorable Prime Minister and the expectations we all had. I think you have in a way exceeded the expectation. I'm extremely grateful for the hard work you have put in. I can just mention quickly that besides the suggestions which has come, all the important recommendations and the agreements which you have reached on, I would like to add that to make India a great destination, to make India an attractive destination for the global community, we have to have a system which should look trustworthy, which should be transparent, and which should be very, very efficient. So in the Ministry of Law and Justice, we have started many steps. Honorable Prime Minister has already given certain outline. You all know that government is the biggest litigant. And today, every matter goes to the court. Every decision of the government or every decision or dispute amongst the parties, they go to the court. And you all know the total pendency of the Indian courts are, reaching the figure of 5 crore. So it definitely doesn't give a good picture of our country. If everything is to be stalled in the court, everything is to be entangled in the judicial and legal process and legal problems, then definitely we are not going to generate any kind of confidence. Today, any important cabinet decisions or any CCS or in any forum, we see important decisions are taken and it gets stalled in the court. Everybody seeks justice, but sometimes in the name of seeking justice, we are doing injustice to the objective of the thing which we are doing. So we are looking for creating a robust judicial system. We are working very closely with the E-Committee of the Supreme Court. I am personally in touch with all the high courts also. And also I'm seeing that the alternative dispute resolution mechanism, the arbitration, the mediation takes a proper shape so that, we can say that all the issues which are concerning the legal matter cannot become a hurdle to the India's growth story. Other issues, other points, there are so many points I don't want to touch upon because it is very well presented. I can just compliment the team that these recommendations which have come and the whole the team approach which you have shown today, if we can share this thing with all the stakeholders, because the total participations are limited. Of course, you were saying that the participation numbers are very encouraging, but still it is limited. If we can take along all other stakeholders who are not able to join us today, it will do wonders. Thank you very much for such a wonderful steps you have taken and your inputs.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we'll share it with all the stakeholders, sir. We have a long list. Now I would request, with my apologies, sir, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable MOS personnel, sir, for your comments, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I must appreciate the presentations that I was witness to in the last few minutes. And also the entire concept of having these post-budget webinars and sharing it with all these stakeholders. Now, when I've been called upon to talk about Mission Karmyogi, and that in the context of good governance, may I make an observation over here that the current practice that we are going through right now is itself a new practice introduced in the arena of governance. And that is in keeping with Prime Minister's, Mr. Modi's penchant for new experiments to develop new practices in governance with the optimum use of technology. And this post-budget exercise that is happening right now is yet another addition to the good practices in governance under the present regime. And it's also a reflection of Prime Minister Modi's governance model. And before I just take 2 minutes to talk about the technology-driven Mission Karmyogi, just permit me for a second to add that right from the beginning, Prime Minister Modi gave us a mantra: maximum governance, minimum government. Now, to sum up in a single sentence, what would it mean? Possibly it would mean a government that is a facilitator, but not an intimidator. And a governance whose ultimate aim or the goal is to ensure ease of living. And ease of living comes from increasing participation of the citizen and also increasing addressal or redressal of the citizen aspiration. And to that extent, I think this forms a case study because Prime Minister's governance model, as I've been often saying, if you see broadly, carries 3 hallmarks. A, it is a sustainable model of governance. At a time when we talk in the terms of sustainable goals, right from UNO till down, this is a sustainable model which has sustained for the last 22, 23 years as the longest surviving head of the government. And second, it has defied the principle of diminishing returns. Any model, however attractive, however acceptable, would gradually lose its sheen. It's not happened. In this case, the rating has gone up progressively with each passing day. And third, this is a governance which becomes more robust, more stronger whenever faced with a new challenge, whether it was the challenge of an earthquake in Gujarat or the challenge of a pandemic after Modi ji took over the Prime Minister. And therefore, this is a tried, successful model. And as Piyush Goyal ji was saying, also supplementary to the whole of government concept that has been sought to be introduced by Prime Minister Modi. And when we talk of Karmyogi, Mission Karmyogi per se, I think this is one of the largest, maybe world's largest civil services capacity building initiative ever conceptualized, ever envisaged directly with the idea coming from none less than Prime Minister himself. And broadly, it serves or addresses 3 aspects. It breaks the silos, A. B, it ensures democratization of the capacity building exercise, regardless of the level or the stature that you hold. And C, it is also a shift from rule to role. So you perform a role which is assigned to you, rather follow the rule book, fail in performing the role to the optimum extent. And therefore, this is also the Prime Minister's aspirational goal of ushering in the Amrit Kal golden era. Now, ICOT, the mobile platform for the civil servants, also make it possible for them to prepare themselves for whatever assignment is given to them, whether it's by empowerment, because you see, a civil servant in Mussoorie is trained to exercise the writ of authority, Sarkar ka Iqbal, and rightly so, because he has to command the department. But what happens is that suddenly when a secretary from agriculture is shifted to a health department, he has to appear to be then commanding over the health sector. And then to gain confidence and not appear to be pretending confidence, this is a handy tool. which would give him the confidence and capacity to tell them, to also make it appear that he is capable of understanding the nuances of the department that he is dealing with, and also from time to time upgrading himself, modifying himself. And therefore, iGOT is a game changer. It's a very, very new and a technology-driven addition to the capacity building mechanism as they have existed over the years. I'm glad that iGOT is also collaborating with the various training institutes in the country, and it has also the provision of having self-assessment. So you could also rate yourself where you stand. And when we talk in the terms of the budget 2023, I think it's in keeping with the spirit of reaching the last mile, and also the green growth through multi-level technology-driven digital mechanisms. And now that training institutes, we are trying to involve more and more. Only last week, we also had I think for one of the first of its kind program, training for the science administrators, which was carried out by the Administrative Staff College of India in Hyderabad, a century-old college. And some of these states like Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh to begin with have also adopted it. I would use this platform to invite others also, because many have got connected to us. Those of the training institutes or the states which have not yet become a part of this iGOT experiment, I would like them to invite them to be part of this. And I'm sure once they get into this, they would themselves realize the benefit and yearn to be more and more into this. So I'm not going to take more than this. I'm sure Mission Karma Yogi has been discussed throughout the day by different speakers in different facets. This is just a small bit I thought I would contribute. Thank you. Thank you for making me here.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving a detailed account of how Karma Yogi is going to actually enhance the capacity of government officers in executing projects, as well as also bringing out behavioral change in when they deal with the citizen-centric schemes and projects. Sir, I think I had seen Honorable MOS Somprakash, Honorable MOS Somprakash. Yeah, I think. So with this, we come to an end of today's session, sir. While I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude for Honorable Minister CIM, sir, Honorable MeitY, Honorable Minister of Law and Justice, Honorable MOS personnel, and I had seen Honorable Minister Commerce and Industries, Honorable Minister of Finance. They have been attending the sessions in between and have been giving valuable guidelines and guidance. We'll take those into account. Simultaneously, sir, the kind of number which have connected with this webinar has been in thousands. So that itself shows the kind of interest in technology which affects all sections of society. And they have been connected right from CSC villages to towns and research institutions and the startups. I think that has been a good thing. And the suggestions which have been given by the speakers and the panelists, and the way moderators have been able to compile those many suggestions into beautifully very concrete and specific suggestions in a few slides, that is amazing, commendable, and I would like to congratulate and thank each one of them for this special assignment which they have done. With this, I would like to once again express my deep sense of gratitude to each one of you, and would like to thank you again. We will continue take forward all these suggestions, make sure that they become part of our action plan and implementation plan. As Honorable Prime Minister has said in the beginning, about how technology affects not only the businesses, common man, as well as the startups. Everybody is affected, and technology go together, and we should be able to ensure that whatever has been announced in the budget should be implemented, should have outcomes as has been defined and decided. I think we should take this forward. With this, once again, I would like to thank each one of you for having connected with us this whole day. Thank you so much. Thank you.